Happy to be here. I'm here to talk about how AI has the potential to transform how all of you in this room understand what's happening in blockchain and what's happening on chain. I think all of us here would kind of agree that a lot of decision making today, whether you're a trader, in retail, a project, et cetera, is based on hype. You're chasing the latest narrative, what's the latest KOL shilling on crypto Twitter, et cetera. And there's a reason for that. It's because actually understanding what's real, what's happening in blockchain is really, really difficult. As an individual, there's a bunch of data sources you can go to get information about what's happening, whether it's research platforms, whether it's metrics and data platforms, or if you're technical enough to write your own SQL query to analyze what's happening on chain. But for the majority of people, it's really hard to understand through all of this information what's actually important. What should I action on? This same problem also exists for projects. Because you can imagine, yes, most of them have resources to hire a data science team and have data analysts, but you have the entire business going to a single team for insights into what's happening in their ecosystem. What are real users doing in my platform? What's the TVL trends? What protocols are driving those TVL trends? All of those questions are really, really difficult to answer, even for projects. And there's a reason for that. Blockchain data is probably the hardest type of data in the world to work with, one of, I should say, right? On-chain data is fragmented. You have all these different sources, different blockchains having their own node infrastructure that you have to connect with in order to ingest the data that's on-chain. Data is not normalized across chains. If you look at the schema of Solana versus Ethereum, they look very, very different, and so you can't do cross-chain analysis very easily. Storing and managing this data is very, very expensive. If you look at Solana alone, the cost to manage and store Solana data on a yearly basis, 6 to 7 figures, right? And so it's very difficult to analyze that. And then, of course, you need technical skills. You need to be able to write SQL or have a team to be able to write SQL and Python to analyze this data. And then finally, you don't even know if you're asking the right questions because the business team and the data team are often disconnected. And so making sure you're even analyzing the right things can be difficult. And the reason that it's so hard is because today's paradigm around analyzing on-chain data and what's happening and gathering intelligence is all based on code. SQL-based analytics, right? You need a team that can do this. With AI, we have the opportunity to change and completely shift the paradigm, to be driven by AI, AI-powered intelligence. And the transformation of this is massive. It can impact everybody in the crypto ecosystem. So a little bit about Flipside and why I'm standing up here talking to you guys about this. So Flipside was founded back in 2017. We started off as an analytics platform and ingested, curated, labeled 30 plus blockchains worth of data, 7 trillion rows of data. We have the historical data of on-chain. We're working with the largest blockchain ecosystems in the world today, Solana and Aptos and Near and Marinade, et cetera, to help them better understand what's happening in their ecosystem and equipping their community with access to what's happening in their ecosystem. But also, because we have all this insights and intelligence, we're actually working with Web3 and digital asset companies as well as traditional financial institutions who are interested in understanding more of what's happening on chain because we have the ability to surface that in a digestible way. You can vibe analyze. So for those of you that are vibe coders, you can use AI to write code for you so that you don't have to. And what you get is hyper-personalized insights. Like ChatGPT, like Claude, you're asking questions to the LLM and it's giving specific answers to the questions that you're asking. You can apply that same paradigm now to blockchain. Instead of having to look for a one-size-fit-all platform like a DeFi Llama or Cointelegraph, you can ask AI a question and surface those insights for you. You can get specialized agents who are really good at answering deep questions about DeFi or meme coins or NFTs and train them, and then also specialized agents to build dashboards for your artifacts. You can marry on-chain and off-chain data. All LLMs have access to the web and information that's publicly available. You can now combine that with on-chain intelligence to do things like maybe Avalanche just announced their new program, what happened with TVL on Avalanche in the week following. That type of analysis, hard to do today. With AI, you ask a question and you have that answer. And this gives you unparalleled scale. Imagine having an army of AI analysts who can query and understand and ingest and draw insights from all of this wealth of blockchain data that's out there and surface to you in a way that's easy for you to understand. That power is massive. And then finally, because business teams can now ask questions, they can interface better with their data teams, right? So you may think, great, you have all this publicly available data, let's slap an LLM on top of it, and it'll just work, right? Well, no. There's a lot of work that goes into creating an AI blockchain intelligence engine. You have to first collect the data, then you have to store it, right? But what's important is that this data has to be clean. It has to be labeled, it has to be curated, it has to be normalized. And then you have to then train AI agents on top of that data to know exactly what to do with it. So it's actually very difficult. We have 7 years of history around cleaning that data, curating it, labeling it, et cetera, and we've spent the last year building this AI engine and AI agent architecture to be able to understand and draw intelligence from that data. So this is a little bit of what it looks like. We have the Flipside data layer, 30 plus blockchains worth of data, normalized across chains, curated. We also have added proprietary data there as well, something called wallet scores. Because we have cross-chain intelligence across all these data sets, you can see and track wallet activity across chains and understand past behavior is a best predictor of future behavior, understand what they're going to do in the future. We've built this AI engine on top of it and made it accessible in various formats. You can have access it in a app that we call Flipside AI Chat, which is kind of like a Claude ChatGPT type interface purely for blockchain. Or if you are used to using Claude and Gemini and Cursor and ChatGPT, we have an MCP server that allows you to plug in our AI engine directly into those LLM interfaces. And then finally, we can also embed our chat. So for many of you that are building apps and maybe you want a research agent embedded into your application, we can also embed Flipside AI into your environment as well. So why does this matter? There are use cases across the spectrum for this. You can imagine let me start at the bottom, for traders, for individuals who are learning about blockchain for the first time. There's so much information out there that they don't even know where to start. Much easier to have an interface where I can just ask, what is Ethereum? What are the top 10 protocols and trends in Ethereum in the past 7 days? That's now being surfaced to me as a trader. It makes the barrier to entry of understanding crypto and understanding blockchain much, much easier. For institutions, they can now do research on stablecoin trends and RWA trends and DeFi and tokens and what's happening across all the different blockchains in the ecosystem. And then finally, for L1 and L2s and protocols, they can understand what's happening in their ecosystem. What are people doing? What protocols are driving the most value? What are other chains doing? And that's really, really important for success. So let me give you a quick demo here that I've recorded. Hopefully it'll work. So this is Flipside AI Chat in action. You can see this is kind of like a Claude ChatGPT type interface. I'm asking a question, doing an analysis on Marinade, which is a liquid staking protocol on Solana. And I want to ask the question, first, you're supposed to have a conversation with AI in order to get the best results. What tables and workflows do you have for Marinade MSOL? And it's telling me, here's all of the available workflows that the agents have been trained on. I can track mint versus burn trends. I can track liquid staking KPIs. I can track staking flows. And now it's asking me, okay, let me go dig into the tables and see what tables are actually available in the engine. And it's telling me I have access to all the Marinade tables, all the Solana data as well, giving me a little preview of all the tables that are available. And now I'm going to write a query. So this is all in real time. I didn't want to speed it up. But so here's all the Solana tables that I have. And a lot of these are curated tables as well. It's not just the raw tables coming out of the blockchain. It's stuff that we've curated to make it easy for analysis. And then finally, I'm going to now do some analysis. Give me the top Marinade liquid stakers, right? And here, it's actually going to create that query based on the tables that I have. And it'll show you a little bit. I clicked into a little bit of the details here, creating a plan for what I want to do for my analysis. And then showing me and generating the query here. So all of this was generated. It's selecting from the liquid stakers table and doing a bunch of joins. And it's going to give me the query results so that I can check the data on what's there. And this is all based on the on-chain data that we've curated and provided here. And then what it's going to do is create some insights for what's happening with the top liquid stakers. This address seems to be a whale staker. It had 3.15 million SOL deposited in the last 7 days. There's a lot of large single deposits. The top 25 stakers are driving significant volume on chain, right? And so now maybe I want to share this insight, right? I want to share it out, and maybe I'm a content creator. I want to create threads on this. Well, great. Let me go ahead and create an artifact from this information. And now it's using completely different types of technology and generating an HTML artifact for me that I can share out publicly. And so it's going to run through the code, generate this report. And again, this is real time. Did not want to fake the speed of this. And so you can see the code being generated here, full HTML. And you will see this report now being created on the fly. And there it is. So this entire video was 3 minutes in real time. And I went from a novice trying to understand what's happening with Marinade, asking questions to the AI about what tables are available, doing an analysis showing me top staking activity, and then generating a dashboard or an artifact that I can now share and publish, right? And I didn't have to write a single line of code. I didn't even have to know much about what's happening behind the scenes, right? I can have a conversation with the AI for this. So the democratization factor of AI on top of blockchain data is massive. Everybody in this room can use this tool to be able to understand more of what's happening on chain. So I'm going to keep it short and try to get us a little bit back on time. So you can imagine what the before and after looks like. One of the important things to note is that when you're doing analysis on chain, sometimes going into it, you don't even know what questions to ask. And so there's this process called exploratory analysis at the beginning, which is very iterative in nature. And today, that's hard to do even for projects because that iteration can be 1 to 2 week lag time in between each. And instead, with AI, you have now under 5-minute iterations to be able to do exploratory analysis on chain. You can also equip a wide community of people with the ability to actually share details of what's happening on chain. So for a lot of protocols, L1s, L2s, this is powerful for the community because instead of just doing show posts or shit posts, you can actually now do post with information and with insights and with intelligence. And that's going to mature your ecosystem and all the content creators in that ecosystem to really deepen the narratives that are being shared on social. And so just a couple of proof points here. We're working with Avalanche. They're using our intelligence platform to pinpoint the user journey in through the protocol mix that is the highest value TVL creation for their network. And they were able to use the intelligence layer to do that. Marinade, as I showed, really trying to deepen wallet behavior, get more TVL. And then Boba, they are using the platform to drive impact through their growth programs. And you can see that they had a 22% increase in high-quality users from using the intelligence provided of what's happening in the ecosystem to drive more users. So I'll leave you guys with this. Start vibe analyzing. Flipside.chat, Flipside AI is free to use for everybody. We have a limit on how many questions you can ask, but you can raise that limit for a small fee monthly. Create an account, start getting insights. So you can just scan that QR code or stop by the booth to talk to us for more. If you are working on a protocol or a chain, and you either want to integrate your data into the platform, or you want to use the platform internally to make better decisions or equip your community, come talk to us. Come talk to Brandon. I'm happy to chat about what that looks like. And then for individuals, there's a lot more resources. We're trying to teach everybody how to vibe analyze. And so we have teach-ins or office hours once a week with our data science team. Sometimes our CTO and chief data scientist will be on. So come stop by those. And as well, we have an ongoing Vibe Analyzer challenge happening right now. So for all those content creators in the room here, we have a weekly challenge with different tracks for the best vibe analysts and vibe analysis that's been created, and you'll get $100 USDC, 100 USDC for winning that. So come and explore with us. Stop by our booth. Come talk more. And yeah, thank you.